Hi, my name is Edwin,
Hi, my name is Brian.
and today, Brian, we are at the Museo Nazionale di Bargello in Florence. And
Yes,
here
we are.
we are looking at Donatello's masterpiece, commissioned by the Medici family around 1400s. This is a full, life-standing, this is the first unsupported work made totally in bronze. In fact, to make a sculpture out of bronze, Brian, meant that you had a lot of money. And
Yes,
so
you're very correct.
so the reason why the Medici family could do this is because they were a powerful family in Florence. In fact,
Very wealthy.
David is synonymous with the city of Florence because it's synonymous with heroicness and power. In fact, interesting, the city of Florence was under attack for many years, and yet it fought back its invaders. And so the story of David really is synonymous with uh, the city of Florence. In fact, that's the Medici family wanted to take that idea and commission the statue for their own palace, their own home. And this was kind of a no-no. In fact, it put him into some controversy. But so, what stands out about this David to you, Brian? What do you see here about this David that is to be trying to be depicted?
Well, first of all, when I look at it, well, he's in the nude, and also that he's a very boyish uh, type of person right here. This bronze
Right.
instead of like a man type of person, and he looks very feminist right now.
Absolutely. He's very feminine, and he's got this nice, soft contrapposto
Yes.
sway to him. It looks like Goliath's head is there at the floor. He's just defeated Goliath, and he's taking a pose. It's almost like if someone's taking a picture of him there, and he's got his sword in his side. It's a very large sword. It seems it's even larger than David.
Yes.
Interesting about this is the fact that Goliath's head there has some feathers. His arm in it has some feathers that kind of run up the side of David's leg.
Yes. It's
Brian, it's kind of art historians have depicted this in different ways. One, it's kind of controversial. One version feels that this is more of the Donatello's version of expressing sexuality. He was homosexual. He was thought to be, and so that he wanted to express the fact that there was this desire by David to be with Goliath and so forth. There was need for being something that you weren't. Others have depicted the feathers as being something of purity versus evil. David being pure and the feathers evil as they were trying to conquer, but David eventually was invincible. There was another sculpture that's done in this palace, and that was by the famous artist Verrocchio. And here we have David's version of by Verrocchio, commissioned also by the Medici family around 1470.
Very correct.
And what stands out for you, Brian, here?
Well, first of all, unlike Donatello's David, right here we have actually clothes instead of
Right?
wearing clothes, and he actually has a sword, but the sword is very small in compared to Donatello's.
Right. Even his clothes is very feminine. He's got like a skirt there. It almost seems like his armament around his chest is really more of like a kind of a see-through lingerie. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And so he's got this very swayish, boyish pose. His hair is longer, and you see that Goliath's head is kind of facing us, and his curls are touching the feet of David. Well, those are the two most feminine styles of David, but there is one other sculptor that was commissioned to do a sculpture of David. And you tell us a little bit more about this one, Brian, that we're going to see.
Yes, I will. The next David is actually by Micheangelo, and this David is actually made out of marble instead of bronze. Yes, interestingly about it is that it's actually ginormous, even if that's a word, but it's huge. It's like 14 feet tall.
Wow. Yes, it's meant to seem like he's this figure. Right off the bat, I see in this sculpture, Brian, I see that there's definitely a difference between the other Davids, right? He's much more muscular.
Oh yes.
He's built.
Yes.
There's this strong definition that's traditional with Michelangelo, right?
Yes. It's like a Greek, a traditional Greek perfect body.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to depict that in this David.
Yeah, Michelangelo really wants to capture the human body as being pure, godly, and powerful, almost godlike, as the Greeks would have done. And so he's definitely done a great job with this David. In fact, his hands are strong and muscular.
Yes.
I notice he doesn't have a sword, though.
Yes, he actually has a sling. The reason for this is because this is actually before the battle of Goliath, with him and Goliath.
Ah, so you're saying Michelangelo's trying to envision David right before battle.
Yes, that is why that he has this perfect body, and if you look at his face, he's very focused, concentrated, and looking off into the distance.
Yeah, it's almost like the emotion has overcome him, that
Yes,
God is on his side,
yes.
and God has given him almost like a vision that he is the one that's going to slay this giant.
Oh yes, that is also why that Michelangelo depicted this perfect body instead of like a realistic boyish type like the other ones we saw. Is that David is immersed with God, so he is perfect with God if he is with
He's
God.
definitely not boyish. In fact, I think Michelangelo's got it right. He's depicting a man that's about to destroy a giant. Well, all three all have interesting tones, but in general, Florence is a symbol of David in power and
Yes.
strength. And it's interesting that all these artists had their own version of what David would look to them, their own vision behind that. And in the end, they know that David is victorious, and it's almost like Michelangelo wants Florence to depict that they are the new way of thinking in art. And it seems like Verrocchio and Donatello were trying to depict David as being the youthful, powerful person that was only through the hands of God that could be victorious. Well, I'm excited because I got to see three Davids in different perspectives by three different artists,
Oh, me
almost
too.
around the same time. But I was definitely impressed with the symbol of what David means to the city of Florence and what David meant for the people of Florence and what it's meant for artists and art historians throughout time.